I'm ready to go. All right. This is my first 1 minute take with a nice background, but there's something really important that I wanted to have filmed. And this is a question that I think either Stone or Sanad put forward. Would you rather come out of your nose, or would you rather pee out of your ears? And this was an intense debate that I think we were going with yesterday, and I just wanted to talk about it out loud because I still feel rather undecided. Because if you come out of your nose, I feel as though that's something that occurs frequently that you don't have control over, because that's sneezing, right? Like if we say we're gonna replace snot with nut, I just don't think that would ever be a socially appropriate action, because like, if you ever just like threw a snot rocket on someone, and that's really not good, they get grossed out. And if that's nut, they're gonna get even more grossed out. It's gonna be less acceptable, and it's really just not something you'd rather do. And I think if you had to pee out of your ears, you have more control over that, where you can just go to the urinal and just tilt your head and like let it out, and people wouldn't really see as much. So I just think that's something that I guess you could do and it would be less weird. So I think I'm gonna submit my answer right now. I'd rather pee out of my ear than come out of my nose.
So my response to Salvatore's statement would be that I don't think it's necessarily, like if you were to come out of your nose, I don't think it's necessarily, well, first of all, one question that we had to clear up was like, are you coming out of your nose because you're stimulated like on your penis like normal? Like because you're sexually aroused, or like you have to stimulate your nose, or like, so I think that's something that we would have to figure out. And then like if you're sneezing, like is cum just coming out when you're sneezing? Assuming that that's the case, that like you're sneezing cum, I don't think that the substance of cum is actually like any more disgusting than snot itself. Like I think it's the sexual action associated with the cum, which is why we associate the cum with something gross. And so for that reason, I don't think that it's like, right, like at the end of the day, it's just like another gross bodily fluid, and I don't think it makes it more disgusting than snot. So I think peeing out of your ear is mad weird. You can't really hide that like at all. Like people are gonna be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm coming out of my nose. That's my take.
Right, I think Ben had some really good takes a second ago. I forgot to raise that idea, like, hey, are we coming out of our nose because, you know, we're doing it, or we're jerking off and we like, that's how we're ejecting nut from our body from now on, or is it we're sneezing? If we're sneezing, we're just gonna take it that route, like, hey, you're not gonna sneeze anymore, you're just gonna nut. Like every orifice from your body just excretes nut now.
Every orifice?
No, just the nose, I'm sorry. And only when you're sneezing. But I will say, though, I think nut is not as gross as snot, because snot is waste, right? Like we need to get rid of that. And nut is not waste, it's clean because it's got my genes. I still think that it's less socially acceptable to nut on someone versus shoot a snot rocket at them. So I think for that reason, I would really not want to be in a situation where I accidentally come on someone by sneezing. That said, there is also the issue that I just thought about, which is peeing out of your ear. There's a lot of the times, particularly at Ithaca, I haven't got the chance to do it here in the big Europe yet, because, you know, there's the COVID, not as many people are partying, but I'm still trying to party. Whenever I get smacked, I like to pee on trees with friends. And if somebody's got to whip out their shit to pee on a tree, and I'm just tipping my head over to like let it leak out of my ear in a really slow way, that's gonna take away from the bonding experience, and they're gonna think that I'm not whipping my junk out because, I don't know, like I don't got the nuts or something. And I don't want anybody to think that I want to be on the same page. So it's really tough for me. I'm feeling more indecisive about this now than when I started.
To me, I don't even think I really have to go into the negatives of peeing out of your ear, but I'll just list a couple quick. One is that like, I don't want my head to smell like pee. Like cum, like probably there's like a little bit of an odor, but like it's not like pee. Like pee is a super intense odor, and I would never want my head to be associated with that in any way. And then really, I just think that like the social stigma of like, oh, you just nutted on somebody is taken away by the fact that there's no sexual act being performed. So it's like, we were talking about a cum sock yesterday, right? Like, why is a cum sock gross? Because there's like cum in a sock, right? But like, what's actually gross about it, like really like thinking about it, like obviously it's a bodily fluid, so it's gross. But like what really like is the fact that like you were jerking off into that sock. So it's like the sexual act performed before the nut that makes it bad. And I think that's taken away if you're just sneezing out cum. So I would feel no shame sneezing my semen onto someone. And that is why I'm gonna stand firm, and I'm picking the
Picking your nose?
picking. Oh.